Welcome to the show, and here are your hosts, the diabolical Elite Gaming Guru, the illustrious Red Dead Panda, and the Australian stud AshtreyGaming. So let's get this party started. Shit.
All right, we are live.
Oh, hello. I just had to let McCain. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Gamers Ninja podcast, episode 74. I think we're at. Are we?
Yes, we are.
You're my adjudicator.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us again. We've got a special guest. Very special. Oh, Ashtray can't be with us because he is red. What's he doing this week?
He got a restraining
Harmful
order
fighting.
against you for a week, so yeah, he can't be on the podcast this week because you're a fraud.
Yeah.
Oh,
We've got a fantastic special guest, J-Rock. He's back with us. J-Rock.
greetings,
hello.
humans. Greetings, humans. How we doing?
Oh, good. What have you been up to this week, J-Rock? What games have you been playing?
Outside of work, the only games I've been playing is I try to go back into multiverses because they released the Gremlins.
Yep.
And checking out Cyberpunk. And trying to refreshing my memory on a Plex Tale. Because it's coming out next week.
I forgot it's coming out. I'm gonna have to uninstall something off my because I'm not playing it on the cloud. It is gonna be a dedicated install on my device. I'm gonna have to uninstall something because I actually need to get a new hard drive. I have too many games. It's not very often you hear Xbox gamers go, "We have too many games."
Too many
Right?
games.
Yeah, we've got too many games to play.
That's a good problem.
Yeah, my backlog has a backlog that also has a backlog. Good morning, the chat. So we've got Grey Moonad, Infinite Umbra, Pikatrick, and this weird fraud in the chat called Elite Gaming Guru.
Yes.
But welcome.
Fantastically
Good morning
handsome
or
fraud.
good evening or wherever you're tuning in from around the world. Appreciate you guys joining us every week. But yeah, Elite, what have you been up to this week? What have you been playing?
I've just been busy a lot lately. So I've not been playing much. I've mainly been playing. I got that Mad Max deal. Did anyone see that? It was like, it's $2.99 in the UK.
Did you buy a
The Mad
game?
Max game. Yeah, Mad Max $2.99. £2.99.
That's
It's on
your
the,
first game
I
you've
think-
bought in 2 years, right?
it's the first time I've bought for a while actually.
Yeah.
I'm still debating about Gotham Knights. I'm still unsure about it. What are you guys doing?
I think I'm going to pick it up.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether to wait just to see the reviews and see what people think of it or not. But yeah, I'm still on the fence about it because I do like the Batman games, but I still have a couple of about it. So I might just wait and see. But yeah, I'm still thinking about that. But bought Mad Max, so I'm ready to get back into that. But other than that, I've been playing Hunt Showdown as well. So and then Scorn released today, so I'm gonna think I'll download Scorn. Oh, it's just a puzzle game, isn't it? That's the only letdown of it.
Yeah,
something like
that's
that.
my
Yeah.
letdown.
You've played it, didn't you, J-Rock?
No, I just saw the reviews. I
Yeah.
uninstalled it. I need my space on my hard drive.
Yeah, it's that's the only problem. It's just a puzzle game. It looks so good, interesting, and good. And you think,
It looks fantastic. I thought it was more than that.
more. I thought a bit more
See,
horror.
I'm of the opposite because the art style is not aesthetically pleasing to me, so I couldn't sit there and play that game. I would just be like the whole time. But it is cool looking in that sense, but it's just not my cup of tea. I'm not going to play that game, which is sad. But I am going to be playing a Plague Tale Requiem because I loved Innocence so much, and I just can't wait to see what they did in expanding the game, the universe, and all the gameplay mechanics because they've added quite a few things in that weren't in the original game. So yeah,
And you want to pet the rats.
I do. Yeah, definitely do. Definitely do. That's my intention. All right. Okay. Well, I haven't been up to much. Thank you for asking, Elite. I'm just going to throw you under the bus today.
Cared.
Nobody cared. No, I haven't really been up to much. I've had busy week with work and just a busy week with with someone, and so I haven't really been home to play games.
Oh, do say someone. Oh.
So I haven't really been home to play games, but you know, I do intend on playing some video games this weekend.
Wow.
And if you guys, if Jarek, if you're setting up Halo night, let me know. I will join. I really want to shoot something. But I'm probably just going to play some Deathloop, maybe, or something else. Actually,
Let's get back
later
into it.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it, you've been shooting your shot a lot.
Just really happy. And
I can actually hear you blushing.
Oh, yeah.
it sounds really, really loud. But for when anyone else comes in the chat who is specifically asking for this, I'll say it now. Rubbish, because I know you guys always ask for it every week that I'm on the show. When I'm on the show, yeah. Okay, well,
Use the other zinc.
yeah, other zinc, especially other zinc. Fuck you, does it as well. But yeah, let's get into topics. Elite, what do we have as our first topic?
At first, I just was going to say actually before we moved on, I was going to say I was hoping Scorn would be more like that Alien. What's the Alien game where it's more atmospheric and you sort of isolation? Yeah, I was kind of hoping Scorn would be something like that. Where you sort of walking around and trying to evade things, just avoid things, and just atmospheric, but it's not. Anyway, our first topic is should I just go through the topics, or should I run through all the topics we're going to cover first and then go through them all? Nah. Okay. Right. So, first topic number 1. Microsoft has revealed how much they spend on Game Pass, basically. How much the revenue they make from Game Pass, and I think it was 2.9 billion. $2.9 billion pounds.
$2.9 billion dollars.
Yeah.
Hey, that's almost as much as the Bungie deal, right?
Yes, yeah, they made it.
Sorry, salt wounds.
And this only includes the consoles.
Yeah, and includes consoles and then Game Pass. Yeah. So yeah, they make 2.9 billion revenue from Game Pass on consoles only, and that was only last year, wasn't it? It's only 2021. So yeah, your thoughts on this? Who wants to fire off first?
Let the guests go.
Yeah.
Go for it.
J-Rock. Yeah.
Well, it pretty much reaffirms with what we all been saying. Game Pass is making money, and it backs up what Phil Spencer has been saying for years now. Game Pass is sustainable. And as gamers, that's really all we need to worry about. Game Pass is sustainable, and we're going to continue getting our deals. Going to continue getting those great quality titles day and date. And we got a whole lot of stuff to look forward to and enjoy.
But J-Rock, what profit is it making? Because that's all I've heard on Twitter is, what is the profit? Like, where can they post the profits?
Listen, I've been hearing these crazy numbers like 800 million for a single indie game. I'm like, what?
What?
Yeah.
How can they possibly make profits doing that?
Yeah. Where do they get these stats from? These numbers from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who said that?
Yeah. We won't say his name. Yeah.
Oh,
It's blasphemous. Yeah, I was just going to say that the thing I find that I bounce back at was when they say, but what's the profit? It's not making profit. I said, well, there's no proof there's profit. I'll say, well, prove that it's not making profit. We know the revenue. Prove it's not making profit unless they're spending 3 billion annually on Game Pass, which is doubt. Then they're making profit. So if you can prove they're spending 3 billion, be quiet. And this is on the back of they said it wasn't sustainable, and it clearly is sustainable. So it's destroyed several narratives in my eyes. Go on, Red. What do you think?
I just find it funny because when those revenue lists are posted, and Sony's sitting up at the top spot in revenue or whatever, I'm like, so what is the profit? Like, it's the same thing. It's this ridiculous sentiment or comment or narrative to state when you guys use the exact same metric yourselves to validate that you bought the right plastic box because your console made the most revenue out of other gaming companies and such and so on. Like, it's just stupid to kind of just continuously pull back and be hypocritical every chance you get. Just because when we're looking at the amounts available there for the subscription services and so on and so forth, like Xbox is killing it in that space. And they should be proud to go, this is what we're doing, this is the revenue that is coming out of this particular avenue that we've chosen to heavily invest in, and this is evidence of why they've chosen to heavily invest in this, because people see the value, and whether or not you're getting Game Pass for $1 or you're paying it monthly or yearly subscription, or whether you're getting it through the Microsoft reward system, it doesn't matter. They're still making money off it, and as a result, they're going to continue to invest in it. And developers are going to continue to navigate to the service slowly and surely and start using it more and more frequently. We've seen what it's done for indie developers, where they've said they've never seen numbers like they have before. They get so much more exposure, and they're not paying in the sense for, like, on the PlayStation side, where you'll get, if you want in the PlayStation store, you want good advertising in there so your game gets shown, so you actually can get people to get hyped and play it. You're having to pay for that, and that's not happening with Game Pass. If anything, the enticement to actually go, hey, do you want to do this, and then negotiate a contract around it, and whether or not Microsoft pays to put it on there so they don't actually lose money specifically, and then there'll be the other things around the contracts that are all clearly confidential and individual to the different development teams and so on and so forth around sorry guys, around how they're going to make money based off, like, how long someone is playing your game for, or how many people download the game and access it, and so on and so forth. So there's lots of different ways that developers can earn
monetize.
Money. Monetize specifically. And then that's still revenue for Game Pass, and it's still huge in that respect, and it's only going to increase over time by the bigger offerings, the day and date games. And so for people to try and downplay this and just focus on the profits, do you have shares in the company? Why is it something that you care about? Like,
are they part of the development team?
Yep.
No.
It just makes it's just very interesting around that. And then you had people calling out crap online, going, Microsoft is clearly lying about the subscriptions because they don't understand what a standard year versus a fiscal financial year is. That tweet, that guy got roasted in the comments section. It was great. Because he's like, clearly they weren't at 25 million, and it's just going to be interesting how many more people start using this once those games start hitting day and date, because there has been a bit of a dry year around the first party exclusive titles, but they've been really good at putting in third party, which is really important, because we know that third party and multiplats are the ones that really sell, and then you've just got that extra cherry on top with the exclusives, and we're going to see a lot of that floodgate opening in 2023. Starfield's coming, for example. That's going to be massive, and that'll be going to Game Pass for PC, no doubt, and so on and so forth. So you've just all these incentives to save money as a gamer, but be more of a gamer than you ever had before. And so it's just why are they so focused on just downplaying something that is so good for the consumer? It's not our job to worry about the industry, what's happening with the industry. The industry's doing its own thing. We're there to play the games, and I think they've forgotten that. They're there to champion their console, their plastic box, basically die on the hill, every hill and every narrative that they've ever said, because they keep dying on it, and then we keep putting it to bed, and then it rears its ugly head again, and it's just I don't know. I think that's too much Kool-Aid.
That's pretty much the crux of the problem right there, is that they're too emotionally invested in their plastic box, and they don't want to believe that Sony is in fact lying to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Sony
could do day and date. They just refuse to do it because for whatever reason, and their fan base wants to believe that Sony's statements of these subscription services being unsustainable is actually true, when in fact it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
And in saying
that's
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's a good thing to just back at them. No, the other thing is, Just ask them if PS Plus is sustainable, or it makes a profit, and ask them what the profit is of PS Plus. They seem to always attack Game Pass, but they forget that Sony has its own subscription service. So what's the profit of PlayStation Plus? Is it making a profit? Is it? Well, why are they not concerned about that? Why are they concerned about Xbox's profits? And also, or their games. Ask them the profit of, I don't know, Horizon Forbidden West. What's the profit of it? We don't. Well, doesn't matter. What's the sales of it? We don't know. Well, yeah, why are you going? I mean, then why are you sort of jumping on Game Pass asking for its profits? Otherwise, it's like failed.
Right.
But you don't know the value, the profits, or even the sales of Horizon West or Gran Turismo 7. The Last of Us 2 sold 10 million copies. Well done. What's the profit? Don't know. Well then, shut up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's just interesting, and I think this whole topic has just really just kind of reiterated the stupidity that is a particular toxic part of our community and fan base who don't engage their brain cells, and maybe should go outside and touch grass once in a while
Eat grass.
Instead of plastic and like fan babying over a company that has shown time and time again that they actually don't care about you one iota. They only care about profits, and that talk around like how they're weird with not putting their games day and date on their subscription service. They're talking about how they want to kind of keep, it's this weird hybrid thing where they want to keep this traditional way of this oh my god, I can't think of the word, but what they've traditionally been doing with gaming, where they release it and you purchase it and then it's going to go later to the subscription service. Like, do you want your subscription service to make money? Because my opinion would be, I would just wait instead of spending, like, it's almost $140 in New Zealand for a PlayStation 5 first party title. I would just wait and get it on a subscription service because it's cheaper. Wait 6 months. And you're going to get people who are cheap and stingy like that, who don't want, because they're like, I'm after a deal. I'm not going to spend this type of money on a game day one because of how costly it is. And you've got the reality of, we're dealing with countries going into some recessions, inflation going up, and people don't have the money to do that, but they still want to be involved in a passion that will actually allow them to be distracted and like focus on other things and hang out with friends, because they're not going to have the overhead and the funds, and the only people who will be the wealthy, but like not everyone's the same. So it's just everything that Sony's been doing time and time again just proves that they just aren't here for the players. They're here for the payers. And if you can pay on the pay station, then you're more than welcome. And the fact that their community is like, oh, if you can't afford it, that's not our problem. Like, premium is, no. You've been conditioned to think that that's okay.
The funny thing is, Panda, a lot of them in their own community can't even afford it, and they're capping for it.
Yep.
Right? Some of them are out here doing GoFundMes for pay my rent. Others are game sharing, right? So if you're game sharing, are you actually supporting the devs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I game share.
It's very hypocritical. I think a lot of us on Xbox game share, we're all proud of it. We're all happy for it, and but what's wrong with it? At the end of the day, everyone wants a bargain. Everyone wants to enjoy gaming. And, if you can do that for relatively not much money, then you're going to do it. It's the same as anything. You're going to pay what you can for what you're going to afford. This is why we inevitably, the food's not great, but it's never be. It's why we eat in places like McDonald's and stuff. That's just, because you got sometimes you just got to cut those corners. This rolls us nicely onto our next topic, doesn't it?
Yes.
So Idle Soft posted this onto Twitter, and there is a source there, but he sort of abbreviates it nicely. Microsoft paid $2.5 million to keep it. This is, we're talking about Ark now. Microsoft paid $2.5 million to keep it on Game Pass for the first half of 2022, and they paid $2.3 million to bring Ark 2 to the service when it releases. So they paid $2.3 million to bring Ark 2 to Game Pass.
Day one.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's a multi-year deal.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was 3 years, wasn't it? For 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sony paid $3.5 million to make Ark. This is the first game. to put it on PlayStation Plus for just 1 month. So let's just sort of just go over that. Xbox paid 2.3 million for Arc 2 for 3 years. Sony paid 3.5 million for Arc 1 for 1 month. So you can sort of see the differentiation here in, I don't know, in just how business are run between the two companies. Sony seem to be, I don't know if it's just because they're super wealthy, or if they're not good at striking up these deals, or if nobody just wants to put their games on PS Plus. It could be that. It could be the Arc devs. Who is it? It's a wild card. Don't want to put their games on PS Plus. They'd rather put them on Game Pass, so that to raise the stakes.
Well, now after seeing those numbers, right now I could if these are the type of negotiators Sony has, I can see why they say a subscription service isn't sustainable because
for them,
they're not good at dealing.
No, they're not.
Well, I guess you look at this, and from my understanding, would this be the fact that it went? You know how they give a game away, if you're part of the subscription, whatever, for a month. That might be one of the free games that you get for the month, right? Is that my understanding? That's what it is. The PS Plus game for the month.
Oh, well, if Sony paid 3.5 million
to get to,
they just give it away for that month.
Yeah, to allow their people to download it and for free. That's my understanding. But like,
could be that.
If you're if it's already on your service and like Microsoft is paying it just to keep it on there for even longer, I think, and then you've got the 2.3 million deal with Arc 2 to put it on the service when it releases, and it's a multi-year deal. That's insane. Like, you're looking at two completely different companies making two completely very different deals, and I guess Sony paid that extra money because they're like, they'll download it and it's free for them, but Microsoft is like, hey, let's keep it on Game Pass, because do you know what? It's on Game Pass, people will play it when they're ready, and it's a subscription-based model, and it's more sustainable in that period of time. They're going to recoup more money back on it staying on Game Pass than it would be paying a lump sum fee to give it free for a month. That's the reality of the situation. That $2.9 billion in revenue is why Microsoft knows this is sustainable. They're playing the long game around how they choose to market and put games into the service, and PlayStation is not.
To the point, Panda, that we actually see devs on Twitter asking, right, and asking the community to retweet and tag Game Pass so they could get their games on the service.
Yeah. Yep. They want it. They. I mean, word of mouth, I think, is still one of the
Microsoft isn't going into these offices with a gun to their heads and like, listen, you're gonna put this on Game Pass or else. No. That's not how it works. They're willingly putting their games. They're reaching out to Microsoft and be like, "Listen, I think our games would benefit from your service.
Yeah,
could we cut a deal?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, Vin Diesel's the co-producer and executive of Arc 2, isn't he? Because he's a massive fan of Arc 1. So he's backing this Arc 2 game. So he must be putting his own money into it. So he must be part of this deal in some way,
probably.
So yeah,
he subscribes to it probably, and he's like,
he knows the Xbox community is like family.
Yeah.
So, exactly. Yeah, I see what we did there.
I love it. You're right, he does.
But because it really started on Xbox and PC. I think it was on Xbox and PC for a good year or two before it even went to PlayStation. So yeah, it did sort of gain traction there. So yeah, he must know that he's not going to bite the hand that feeds him. Really, at the end of the day,
it's family.
It's family.
It's family. We see Vin Diesel was in the holiday in Mexico. It's in the pool with us. Yeah, there was it. Came to fame.
No.
What's that?
Anything else you want to add on to that? No. I mean, I think it was a great tweet, and it was very insightful around how the two companies choose to deal and also put games into their subscription services. And it's still looking at like it's.
And let's not forget that 2.3 mil, right?
Yeah.
For Arc 2. This is day and date. Day and date.
Yeah, day and date new game.
I can only imagine it going day and date, the amount of people jumping onto that game to play it. And the amount of people who might just choose to also pay for it as well with the discount that you get through Game Pass. So there's a lot of incentive in that space to put a game in there and then see the dividends that come out of it. Yeah. A lot of incentive. They've both muted themselves because they just are like, Serena's...
I was just going to say, no, I was just...
No, I'm kidding.
Because I was typing and I mute myself because I don't want people to hear me typing.
It's okay. I'm just going to talk forever. You know this, guys.
Yeah,
no, I was
was
actually talking. I was actually having D's on the other line. That's why.
Oh,
So.
yeah. I was just teasing. I was teasing. Quite often, Elite and Ashtray will go away for a little bit and then come back, and I'm still.
It's usually when you're ranting.
Yeah,
no, I was just
ranting.
going to say, it also demolishes that whole narrative that Xbox paid 800 million for an indie game when they've paid 2.3 million for Arc 2. It's sort of you thinking,
Arc 2's
I'm
indie.
not
Did
too
you
sure
know
now.
this?
I mean, listen. That computer wasn't computing, Cameron. Like,
It sort of demolishes that whole narrative.
Oh man,
800 million for an indie.
800
What indie was he referring to as well? I don't know what it is. It gave no real details or anything. Then he just threw a number out there.
and that was for one. And that was for one indie game. Now, if we go by it, now we have 800 million times 400. The whole 3.9 billion. I was like, holy, bro. That's not how it works.
If I stick my finger up my ass and then do this,
Whoa.
Yeah.
He's a very odd man. Should we roll on to the next topic?
Well, I was just going to quickly just say, remind guys watching episode 74 of the Gamers Initiative podcast with Elite Gaming Guru, the fraud of the internet and of Twitter. We've got the amazing guest, J-Rock, with us today. So just hit that like button, share it out. We appreciate you guys here every week. And then Ashtray couldn't be here this week. He has a temporary restraining order against Elite because he's a fraud. So he'll be back next week once that restraining order ends. He
didn't want the fraudulence to rub off on him.
Yeah.
Well, Ashtray touched me.
That's what Ashtray said. I'm kidding.
You got it on record.
All right. Well, the next topic, Sony is aiming to ship 30 million PS5 consoles in 2023. Now we've seen like a huge boost in availability in the recent weeks or recent months, starting to kind of change the tide around people being able to access PS5s in the market, where you can actually go in the store and get it. J-Rock, as you are our guest, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is something that is in the realms of possibility, considering that PlayStation has now shipped 21.3 million PS5 consoles to date at this point?
Yeah, I think they're gonna fall a bit short, but it is good news anyway, especially for those seeking to purchase a PlayStation 5. I don't know why, but for those that for those that are seeking to get one, is good as we get to the point that they could just walk into a store and pick one up. I'm pretty sure the majority of those 30 mil will be bundles, because we know they want to boost up those them sales for these games. Apparently that's the only way they could get to 20 million. So yeah, overall, they're little, we know their strategies. We already heard the God of War bundle coming soon. So we know how it goes. Discount bundle, and we'll get to that milestone sooner or later.
They really should have gone to the Pope and asked him to do it. His Ragnarok controller was so much better than the official one that was designed for PlayStation.
So I'm always on about the official Pope thing.
The only thing different about that God of War bundle is what the box art. It comes with a digital code. Everything else is the same.
That bundle was trash, and it looks crap, isn't it? It does look like they've made no effort whatsoever. It does really look like they're just trying to budget. You have a digital code, regular PlayStation 5, off you go. Yeah, cheers.
What are your thoughts, Elite?
I was going to say, doesn't this fantastically tie in with the price hike on their PlayStation 5s, doesn't it? Oh, we've suddenly got chips now. We can put out more PlayStation 5s now. We put the price up on them all. Well done. Well done, Sony.
Right.
You hold them back, create the market.
Hold on. What was the reason for the price increase?
So they made it lighter, and they made it
took out
more
some chips.
power
They increased the
efficient.
price. They increased the price of the PlayStation consoles because what? Supply chain constraints and so all of a sudden they could ship
because of the inflation and hard times everyone else is dealing with. They're feeling it, so they're passing it on to everyone else.
But suddenly they're not feeling it now, and they've made loads and loads. They've made 30 million consoles, but they've kept the price as it is.
I actually think that because they've gone down to 6 nanometer chip size, I think it was part of them passing the cost on to the consumer for the engineering and for the oh my god, I can't think of the word for it, but those costs I think have been passed on to the consumer as a result, because I don't think the PlayStation 5, like I said this whole time, was well designed. If you understand technology and understand how computers work and all of that, yes, all the pretty statistics and specs for the console sounded lovely. However, in reality, what you got was far short of what it should have been based on when the console released. And now the people who bought early versus the people who are going to be buying now, they're getting the better end of the deal, the people who are buying now. For the fact that the console is more power efficient, should be able to cool itself more efficiently as well. Technically should hopefully be about the same quietness, because they still don't have one dedicated fan design. They have multiple fans and you don't know what you're going to get. It's just a pick and mix with the PlayStation 5 console on the fan. Whereas Xbox went through, and we saw it when they showed us all the testing that they did on the fan, the different types, and they settled on one fan, and that fan is the same one on every single console, because they want consistency around performance, because they need it because of what that console can technically do in that small form factor, whether it's on the Series S or the Series X. Kudos to them trying to get to 30 million consoles shipping 30 million consoles in 2023. I think that's a big ask in that respect, but they can probably do it, and hopefully they sell that many as well, because we know that the PlayStation brand is really strong, and they have a massive community out there of people who want to play PlayStation. So yeah, I'm just a bit sad about the price increase. A bit sad. I think it's a bit of a rip-off. And yes, you are right. They are going to have those that bundle for God of War, the bundle for Horizon Forbidden West, and so on and so forth. And it's nice to see bundles coming out, which is cool. But it would also be nice to kind of see that whole mentality, the narrative that their fan base really push, that these games stand on their own merits, and this is why you buy a PlayStation. Like, no, they're bundling it there as more of an incentive to also kind of mask some of that price increase for you. Yeah, it's all about that marketing. So it's like, hey, it's a better deal because the game comes with it. But then it's like, are you really supporting the devs? Because you're not spending $70 or whatever it is on that game as well. So it's just kudos for them. I think it's very ambitious. I think they can do it now that they've gone down to 6 nanometer chip size, so they'll be able to make put more on the actual chipset, like make more out of that chipset with the die, and they'll be able to actually get more of those units out in that respect. But let's see if they can actually do that, because we're still dealing with constraints as a result of what's happening.
This is the chip that Austin revealed that they recently discovered that they had changed without telling anyone.
Yes, they hadn't told anyone, and they changed the size of it. Yes,
switched the chip out. Yeah, how sly is that? Beta. What did we call it? We called it a year ago, didn't we? Or plus, or longer than a year ago now. The PlayStation 5 was a beta, didn't we? Remember that? We said that right at the beginning. We did. We said it in our very first podcast.
The beta 5.
The beta 5, yeah. It was. We called it. We said it. We said this thing is just continuously going to be changed up and stuff like that. And we said it right back in 2020. And we was right. There we go. What do you know? So, J-Rock, you got any more to add to this?
No, that's enough Sony topics.
Yeah. Let's get on to some Go on, Red. You want to lead with this topic?
Maybe. Okay. Yeah. To be honest, I'm like,
This is your topic.
I put it in there, but I'm like, it was just interesting news. So Microsoft partners with Meta, so they're to bring like Teams, Office, Windows, and Xbox to VR, and I think this is really, really, really cool. When you think about if you're able to access that all through VR, and the fact that they're partnering with Meta, which is already an established VR system, and so they don't have to put money into actually developing their own, because there's already established out there, and those costs won't be passed on to the consumer in that respect either. But the applications for it is quite massive when you think about those particular that particular software, those particular platforms being available to access via VR. But yeah, J-Rock, you are our guest. Did you find this at all interesting? Do you really, I don't know. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, in terms for the VR, like you said, it's beneficial to Xbox because their whole goal is to put Game Pass on as many screens and as many devices as possible. That's their goal.
Yeah.
Right? And this is just another device that the VR has said that, that people and its users can actually access Game Pass and Game Pass titles from, which is awesome. I wish I could benefit from it, but I can't because VR, I suffer from migraines and VR just triggers them. But
ideal, yeah.
for those that do, I'm happy for you guys. And listen, this is great stuff. Great stuff all around.
I'm like you, J-Rock. I will get motion sickness. It's from that. There's some games where even I struggle to play because I just get motion sickness from not even playing VR. So
Elite Gaming doesn't have to worry about that because he doesn't play games.
yeah,
I don't.
or buy them.
I just watch YouTube.
That's what Ashtray said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's not here because he won't say it to my face, fraud. Bitch. Yeah, I think VR is not the way to go yet. It's way behind on VR anyway. So I think Phil said it ages ago that he's not going to pursue VR until it's sort of mainstream. Until then, I think it's just a sort of a side thing.
Wireless, basically.
Yeah,
that's the standard.
I would love to experience Starfield in VR, just like flying.
Starfield.
What?
Yeah, Starfield or Sea of Thieves. I'd like to play in VR. That'd be mental.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that.
I really just want to play.
That you
Pokemon
would
in
be
VR,
sick
guys.
on Sea of Thieves. Yeah.
Pokemon in VR, my reality.
Yeah,
I've
of
Oh,
always-
that'd be sweet.
Pokemon Go was big. Imagine Pokemon in VR. That'd be insane.
Or even I'd like to see something like Street Fighter in VR. Where you
that would be
sort of
quite
more as the character. Yeah.
No, I think
And
Street
those fists are
Fighter
just coming at you.
in AR would be quite interesting because we saw that one on that little clip.
I showed you. Yeah.
But
Ashtray said Elite Gaming can't do Pokemon VR because he probably catch it himself with a Pokeball.
Yeah. Is it? He's like chat, is he?
that's hilarious. Appreciate it.
He's been stay away from me. Ashtray, you was barred from being near me after touching me.
No, he's got the restraining order against you.
Oh, right, I thought it was the way around. Oh,
No,
I can't
he'll
do
be
these
back.
restraining orders.
Yeah,
There's so many against me.
Yeah. It's because you're
King
a
Fresh has got
fraud.
one against me.
No.
He blocked me on Twitter.
I think it's cool, and I think the applications outside of just gaming is going to be massive. But you are right around they're wanting Xbox to be everywhere. They're wanting Game Pass to be everywhere, and this is them making those steps and partnering with these companies because Facebook doesn't seem to really be pushing gaming like they intended. They closed that Facebook gaming app that they had, and everything's going into Meta anyway. And with oh my god, where's my brain gone? Stadia in the gurgler. There's just Microsoft is making very smart moves to stay sustainable, guys, and get more than just 2.9 billion in revenue. But yeah, we saw the applications for HoloLens, and I think HoloLens is going to be something massive one day for gamers when when the technology catches up and it becomes mainstream, because I think AR is going to be huge, augmented reality in the gaming space. I really think that's something that a lot more people, it'll be a little bit more mainstream because you won't get as many people dealing with the issues like you do when you're with VR.
Yeah, the motion sickness and all that. Yep.
Yeah, and all of that. So I think maybe we're going to see something like that later on. Yeah. What? We will think... What? I think Red Dead Panda doesn't like me. What do you mean, Psycho-Man?
What?
What?
What are you on about?
I haven't been online, guys. I'm so sorry. I've been in a bubble, enjoying my bubble. And yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
She loves Psycho-Man, so she's not talking to anyone.
Psycho-Man? No, I love you very much.
Panda.
Bros before.
I hope Panda is behaving.
Never. Have you
Yeah, she's not.
have you seen me trash talking Halo?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mainly just
you
to
don't see-
Infinite Umbra and to Jedi Knight Peter, just trash talk. And
Does Jay know your version of
in the chat.
Does Jay know your version of
You heard it here. You heard it here, chat. She's a dirty talker.
Oh my
Jay,
God.
do you know what she does in Halo? She doesn't teabag. Have you heard her version of it?
Nah.
Comrade.
Go red.
A flap slap.
Oh. A
Yep.
flap slap.
Yep.
She slaps people.
Yeah. There's no. I can't teabag. I don't have the equipment. So.
It's a true story. It's true.
Yeah. J-Rock's like, oh. No.
He's gone.
He's gone. He's just like,
Flap slap.
oh.
He's looking up on OnlyFriends.
Right. And that's curtains, guys. That's all, folks.
Oh my
Beef
God.
curds.
Okay. I don't have much more to add to that. I think it was cool, and it was just a nice something to mention. That this partnership is going ahead, and Microsoft is being smart, because it's not just Xbox, it's Microsoft itself, and they're looking at ways to kind of extend into other areas that Teams, Office, and Windows haven't been before specifically.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Xbox now is an umbrella term.
Yeah.
You know, includes everything now.
Yeah. Which
If you're on PC, you could be an Xbox gamer on PC. You could be an Xbox gamer on console, handheld, cloud devices, VR devices, any device.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, which is a selling point for the CMA. Surely, I'm not sure why they can't grasp that. Which sort of takes us nicely onto our next topic, doesn't it? Take-Two Interactive CEO says acquiring.
Zing.
You know, that was one of the smoothest transitions you had in
A long time.
for the podcast, and then you messed it up here at the end.
I know, because trying to read the thingy where it's how it's pronounced. Anyway, the CEO of Take-Two is basically
Zynga. Yep.
acquired Zynga. Yeah, he's basically just backing up Xbox and saying he's all sort of agreed to it. Really, he's sort of what's the issue? It's competition, and I think even at one point he says they're sort of allianced with Microsoft, and they're not.
Yeah,
Xbox, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he did.
You
know what I wish? Sorry, I just want to say what I'd like to have done for our podcast is be able to cut the interview into our podcast. We could sort of show some of it. It'd be interesting, but maybe for another time, if we could start doing stuff like that, it'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But go on.
He said he doesn't see this competition as a threat, and he views them as an ally. So you are right around that, and that's due to the impending acquisition ABK deal to actually fully be sussed and completed, and he sees it as a good move for the industry at a large. He literally quoted, "Ultimately, the consumer votes, and if we create great hits, which is our business, then consumers will show up and no one can take that away from us." So he said that in line with why he doesn't see this as competition. If Take-Two is making great games, then they're going to be competing with Microsoft, and as long as they're making those great games, the consumer votes with their wallet and their time and goes and plays their games. And then he's like, talking about the entertainment business is an antithesis, oh my God, of fungible commoditized business. Every title stands alone. So it sort of doesn't compete with anything else, and yet it's highly competitive in a way. So in other words, we compete with everything and we compete with nothing. You can't replace one of our titles with another title. So every game stands on its own merits, and he's right, because they're all individual games. They're all individual IPs, intellectual property.
Yeah.
Yeah. J-Ro, what
100%
were your
right.
thoughts on this? Because the lady who did the interview was salty as hell.
Salty. God,
Yeah,
she got
she's
stocks in
triggered.
Sony or what?
Yeah. Did any of the chat watch this as well? Just
I
wondering in
was
the
I
chat.
was looking for horseshoes. I was like, damn, them high heels or horseshoes? What we doing out here? But yeah, basically he had a little subtle shot at Sony. If you really read into it, he said,
Yeah.
you know, if we built great games, there's nothing to worry about, right? The gamers are gonna go where the greatness is. So
Yeah.
why is Sony so worried if they claim they have the most talented developers, most talented teams, the biggest IPs? They have greatness, right?
Yeah.
So why are you so
Bangers.
concerned? Unless you see your numbers and you're like, well, this greatness is a facade, and it's not really there.
Mm.
Yeah. And
But
yeah.
yeah, like you said, whenever something is removed from the market and there's a void, somebody else comes and fills it up. Pause.
Yep.
So he said people could go to Battlefield. They could jump over to Battlefield or another IP, or somebody could create something to fill in the void. So it's competition. Why should you be afraid of competition?
I think they're afraid of competition because they don't quite have a lot of games in the works ready to go, and then Call of Duty's kind of always been that big cash cow for them. That they can make a lot of money and revenue, and there's a possibility that they are worried that gamers are going to see a incentive to playing the game through Xbox or Game Pass or anywhere that Game Pass is available that's not a PlayStation 5. And I mean, I think it's valid because you're not paying full price for a game day and date. You might have to, you're going to get that game day one on that service, and all you're doing is paying a small subscription fee. So financially speaking, yes, and it might sway people to purchase an Xbox or just play it on PC instead and just get Game Pass for PC or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then you've got your dedicated fan base who are just like gonna buy it on PlayStation, or they've decided to cancel their pre-orders because they don't want the money going to Xbox. It's like, cool. So you also don't want the money going to Sony because Sony makes a hell of a lot of money, and you're actually just hurting Sony at this point when you think about it in reality. Elite, what are your thoughts? You're muted if you're talking.
You're muted, Elite.
Yeah, man. He's like, I'm going to be talking for hours, so he's like, I can go get a rum and Coke. And...
Let me go get a bathroom break.
Yeah.
But yeah, while Lee is coming back, let me just piggyback off what you said. Listen, like this whole thing, like Phil Spencer already told him he's gonna fulfill the contracts, and he was gonna give him even more time to build up a competitor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Giving him 3 extra years to build one, so that's what, 5 years or so.
Considering the games are going to go onto a 2-year dev cycle, I think.
Right.
Might even be longer.
Might even be longer. So you're telling me with all this talent that you have out there, you have Bungie now, you can't build yourself a competitor to Call of Duty?
But they can do, but they know this is going to take 3 to 4 years to do, don't they? And they know that in that time, Xbox is going to dominate the FPS market, and they're worried that mind share will switch over to Xbox.
Yeah.
It's almost as if they're trying to just delay and slow down Xbox so they can catch up to them.
Yeah, but the thing that's great about the gaming industry is this, right? Is that a phenomenon could just emerge out of nowhere, like a Fortnite, right?
Yeah.
Like Apex, like these games just emerge out of nowhere, and they just hit.
Yeah.
And in their own right, Fortnite rivals Call of Duty in terms of in player time and engagement and in streams. So you're telling me you can't create something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. they create bangers. Every game they make is a banger. So
factions could if factions is done right, factions could rival Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like in its own right.
But the only thing holding them back there would be it being exclusive just to PlayStation, so it could never really trump profit-wise Call of
they might
Duty.
bring it to PC though, because they've got
Yeah,
that's
that's the thing.
likelihood.
That's the thing. I think we've covered it last year. Last week, where they've already said that they're going to put their gas games on PC day one, haven't they?
Day one.
Which will be factions. So we know that's going PC day one
Do you
because they know profit-wise it won't compete with any other multiplayer game, and it will die to death if it was just exclusive.
Do you reckon their gas games will all be free to play on there through their subscription service as well?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope so.
I think it will be. Yeah, that's why there was a lot of fanboys crying because they said it's not fair that it's going to go to PC day one and PlayStation day one through the subscription service, but PC doesn't have to pay for online, whereas PlayStation does. So it's not fair. They was whining about that, weren't they? Did you see them crying?
But don't they already have these PCs, and that's where they play those Xbox first party titles, right?
Yeah.
It's funny that narrative changed as well. I brought up with Salty the other day because he was going on about. It was sort of saying there was a few of them doing a space one, and they were saying there's no it's Mooch's channel, and there's giving the argument that you don't really need to buy a PC because it's a different market, PC and console. There's PC gamers and console makers, and they don't really mix. And there's no real reason to buy. They're completely gone against what they were saying 4 years ago when they said there's no reason to buy an Xbox. You could just play all these games on PC. Now the games are going to their PlayStation games are going to PC. They're trying to argue now there's no reason to have a PC. You can still play them on console because they're a different market of gamers and they're different people. And, what we were saying 4 years ago, basically, they're pretty much repeating of what we're saying now,
verbatim. Basically, what we said: console players are going to enjoy their game on consoles. PC players are going to go to PC and enjoy it.
Yeah, we've been saying it for ages, and they went no, and now they're sort of slowly drifting towards that way because the narrative is taking them that way now, and they need something. They need a reason to cap for Sony. And it was horrible to listen to. I don't know if you listened to it. I think it was Fritanga that covered it. It was on his channel. And did you listen to it?
No.
So it was on. I think it was on Saltis or Mooch's podcast, and they had people like Saltis and Mooch and that, and the usual idiots, and it had Port Rock, and but there's some Indian fella, and they was really taunting him that because he was saying he's going to move over to PC, and they was really having a go at him and stuff like that, and just bringing him down and just taunting him and mocking him and stuff.
Play where you want to play. That's the whole point.
Well, that's what he was trying to say to him. He said, I've still got a PlayStation 5. I'm still going to play exclusives. It's just the majority of the games I'm going to play on PC. There's no reason to just have a PlayStation 5 now. They're really against him, really aggressive towards him. And they were just... And this is what shows just doing
at this point and acting like bullies.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there was. And then Till Porrock spoke up and said, actually, I've got a PC now and I'm going to do the same as him. And they was all like, yeah, nodding and sort of agreeing with Porrock.
No,
and then when these other guys spoke up and said the same thing, they were like, and having a go at him. It was just weird to see one eat their own, but the way they were all sort of humble and sort of bowing to Portrock whenever he spoke, it was just awkward and sort of cringe.
The reality is PlayStation has cornered themselves and said we're console only, and now they're starting to dip their toes into the PC world. Their fan base isn't ready for it, whereas Xbox has had Microsoft, Xbox, etc. They've done the Play Anywhere titles. They've been planning this forever, so you choose to play the games where you want to play. As long as you're playing a game that is available, like an Xbox exclusive, you're playing Xbox. Or if you're playing it through a service like Game Pass, you're playing Xbox. And it doesn't matter because it still doesn't matter what platform you choose to play it on, whether it's PC, whether it's cloud, whether it's through the TV, because Samsung just announced, it said that the new TVs will be available with the app and such. Whether it's on your phone,
the new streaming device
that's coming out, etc. It doesn't matter where you choose to play because you're still playing in that ecosystem, and they have to learn that their ecosystem is no longer this tiny console. It is expanding out to PC, and if you really, really, really want to support PlayStation, it doesn't matter where you choose to play it. As long as you're playing a PlayStation game, you're supporting PlayStation. And that mentality and that logic, they just haven't switched over to that mindset yet. They're so focused on console sales and console shipped and all this other crap that they're just really pigeonholing themselves and making themselves more toxic and more isolated in our community instead.
Yep.
Stupid.
And that was a decision Phil made. I heard him in an interview, right? He was like, we, you know, profits and revenue is the bottom line for any company, right? But how could we go about it? We could go to PlayStation route and just charge the same users more and more generation after generation, the same user base, or we could spread that out and get more people in and giving everybody what we consider deals, but we're spreading our net further, which means we're tackling the cell phone markets and the PC gamers and the cloud gamers or people that just want to play on tablets. We're trying to get them all in instead of charging the same user base because if you look at the console history, there's a ceiling for consoles.
Yep.
They never surpass a certain amount, and you see the demographics is always the same. The same age group is just aging one more year is the same demographic of console gamers, and they're just charging them more for the console. Then you have to, now we need to find a different way to charge you by giving you a next gen tax. I know you brought the console with all the capabilities, but we're gonna charge you per capability.
Oh, it's such
and now we have to charge you for customer service. Like, come on, it's getting ridiculous right now.
Yep.
So I like Xbox approach of, listen, let's just get more people into our ecosystem, paying into it, and give people, keep the costs down, keep the access, and make it accessible to more and more individuals.
Yeah.
From all walks of life. With disabilities, we give them the controller that they created for them, and they're just trying to get more and more people into it.
Yeah.
Like
and
said,
the funny thing they keep throwing family. The one thing they keep throwing at me and always, they're going to put up the price of Game Pass, right? Well, yeah, they are. Yeah, probably will do. Yeah. Eventually, when we're just sort of inundated with games, that it's going to be impossible to not put up the price because they're going to be throwing in so many. Because I see, as they said, they wanted to do a AAA first party game every quarter, wasn't it? Eventually, or about 4 or 5 a year, didn't they? So on top of all the other stuff, they're gonna have it probably be more than that if they get the Call of Duty.
It's interesting, right? Like they will say, "Oh, they're gonna increase the price of games," and Xbox turns around and gives us a family plan in order to save money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, while Sony literally increased the price of games on their cross-gen games you can play on PlayStation 4. Yeah, so yeah, it's a stupid argument, which takes us nicely on to Tom Warren's comment on Twitter. So this is due to the CMA, and basically they seem to oddly be taking Sony's side on this. And what he says in his little tweet, Microsoft isn't happy with the UK's MCA regulator over its Activision Blizzard acquisition comments. It describes the regulator's concerns as misplaced and that it adopts Sony's complaints without considering the potential harm to consumers. That's what Microsoft is saying, because they've not really. They have really just taken Sony's sort of consumer argument over there crying like a big baby, and they've just listened to him and took all these points on board, and now they're investigating Microsoft without even just looking at the blatant obvious. I forgot what what's his name, Tom Warren.
Tom Warren, yep.
Tom Warren, but I just want to. Oh shit, my phone's fucked up. I had it open. I just want to read off one of the most hypocritical things I have ever seen, ever, which is what they're supporting. It's so this is what the CMA wrote. Third-party views also covered the merged entities' ability to engage in partial foreclosure strategies. SIE told the CMA that even if COG games remained available on PlayStation following the merger, the merged entity would still be able to engage in partial foreclosure by increasing the differentiation between the versions of COD available on Xbox and on the PlayStation, i.e. create parity, make the games look better on the Xbox versions than PlayStation. Like what PlayStation do now.
Disparity?
Yeah.
Parity making it
But
the same.
it's interesting, right? It's interesting that we don't even have parity now currently. There's no
Yeah.
parity between the Xbox and the PlayStation versions of COD. PlayStation has exclusive modes.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to go on to. That's that one of the issues from Sony were the parity. So Xbox might create parity. Also, according to SIE, what was it Sony? What it's called Sony something or other Entertainment. SIE gamers may expect that COD on Xbox will include extra content and enhance interplayability with the console hardware, in addition to any benefits from membership in XGP. In XGP, was it Xbox Game Pass? SIE submitted these factors. They said it's not. It's likely the factors of that will likely influence gamers to console choice. So Xbox having exclusive content may swayed players to pick up an Xbox instead of PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. That's not
way.
fair. That is not fair. How can Xbox have exclusive COD content? That is just not fair.
Lord forbid the Xbox owners actually expecting, right? Some type of deal from a first party title from
I know.
Xbox.
I know. Imagine that, and imagine imagine expecting exclusive content from Call of Duty on your console, and it's swaying players over. Imagine doing that.
I don't know. That seems
The hypocrisy in that statement alone from Sony. It's incredible. At the time when they're now advertising exclusive content to Call of Duty and Hogwarts, and what's the other game they got content for, exclusive content for, was just released? Callisto, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're complaining that exclusive content can sway players off their platform. That is just, and why CMA is even sort of considering this is just disgusting and sort of gross misconduct in some way, isn't it? It's horrible.
You know what's interesting and funny, right? Is that PlayStation expects console parity, right? Between the consoles, regardless of specs and performance capabilities, right?
Well, we saw that in that contract with RE Village.
Right. But they don't carry that same mindset when it comes to their own product, i.e. Spider-Man, right? Or games they're porting over to PC. There's no parity between their PC versions of the games and the PlayStation 5 version of the games. Right? No, they actually brag about the extras they're going to give the PC consumers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? In order to incentivize them to purchase the copy on PC. Oh, we have more ray tracing modes on the new Miles Morales that can't be done on the PlayStation 5. Where's the parity there, PlayStation?
Yeah.
Are you saying they're giving them incentives to buy a PC over a PlayStation 5, and even though it's a PlayStation game that the PC gamers are purchasing, so they're still making profit out of it?
It's like, but you know, it's justifiable. Like that's what these companies have been doing.
Yeah.
And then they go on and say, "Oh, we saw a pattern with Microsoft. They buy these developers and they make their games exclusive."
Yeah.
What?
Shocking.
Are you new to the gaming industry?
Yeah.
That's what they all been doing.
Imagine Sony coming out and say they buy studios and make their games exclusive. Can you do something about it?
You believe they bought Naughty Dog and Naughty Dog games are just on PlayStation?
Insomniac.
The nerve.
How openly hypocritical can you be? You couldn't. That is the definition of it, surely, to do something like that. To say Xbox are buying studios and making their games exclusive. It's just not right. It's not fair. It's anti-consumer. How can you just openly be that blatantly just, I don't know. And the CMA to go, oh, really? We'll investigate it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck?
Competition is good, right? And competition is one of the biggest reasons why we are dealing with Xbox the way it is in its current state. Because PlayStation brought shit ton of competition to the table last generation. And they only had to do a couple of things to do it, because the mindshare was with PlayStation anyway. And Xbox had some really dumb things that they did at the beginning of last generation. And then they've been paying for them ever since. And now they're on the up and up. that they can bring competition to a level that actually concerns PlayStation, PlayStation is now crying foul.
Yep.
Just grow up. As a company, you started this. You've been playing this game for however long, and now someone else is actually able to play it better than you because they have a bigger wallet, and that's the reality of the situation. Don't wake a sleeping giant, because everyone knows that, you know, no match for it. Yeah, you played it. And Phil has been very smart around the way they've approached things and smile on the face and so on and so forth. But you know, behind the scenes, they're like, let's do these deals. Let's put our gamers at the center. Let's have all these consumer friendly practices that will incentivize people through word of mouth to encourage others to choose a platform that works better for you as a consumer.
They even offered to have Game Pass on PlayStation.
They did.
They refused it.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
See, that was the counter argument of Microsoft, didn't they? They come back and said we offer Game Pass to Sony and refused it.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting. The CMA came out and said, "Well, we can't use Nintendo as an example as to why to show that a company could survive without COD, right?"
Yeah,
model.
exactly.
Yeah, that Nintendo.
Like, why not?
Yeah.
Oh, because PlayStation's too reliant on third-party games and Call of Duty's too big for them.
Whose problem is that, though?
Right.
Correct
That's their
their
problem.
IPs.
Surely whose problem is that in the business? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. I was just looking some of the other things Microsoft fired back at the CMA, to put forward their argument against Sony. Sony PlayStation has been the largest console platform for over 20 years, with an install base of over 150 million consoles, making it larger than Nintendo and more than double the size of Xbox, they said to the CMA. So, you know, there's that. So don't worry about monopolies. Sony engages in conduct today which is reflective of its market power in console gaming, including increasing prices of its consoles without fear of losing market share. as a stabbing the knife into twist, isn't it? Wasn't it? The other point was the suggestion that the incompetent market leader with clear and enduring market power could be foreclosed by the third largest provider as a result of losing access to one title is not credible.
Right.
Considering that all they talked about is COD to them, that's all they care about. They don't care about any of the other IPs that
That's the other thing,
getting.
right?
Like, there are so many IPs that will be part of that deal that Microsoft will get access to. But COD is the only thing that they're willing to die on the hill for.
Yeah, which proves they're just worried about their bottom line. That's all they're worried about. They're not worried about them buying any publisher, because they weren't concerned about them buying Bethesda. They're not really concerned about them buying a publisher. They're worried about their bottom line. They're worried about losing the profits from COD. That is it. They don't care about King, which brings in loads of money.
Right.
It's just COD.
Listen,
if it was
I swear, as a pony writing these things, man. Yeah. Because whenever they bring up Bethesda, they're like, and we saw that they bought Bethesda and they made Starfield exclusive.
Yeah.
Like, this is the things I hear on Twitter.
Considering that PlayStation
like, why did you single out Starfield?
Yeah. Considering that PlayStation was looking at making an exclusive deal to keep it as a timed exclusive on their platform for a certain period of time and pay the money for that, and they couldn't go ahead with that because of the deal that went through with Microsoft. Just so funny.
Instead of going, well, according to our documents, we see Sony. You were interested in buying Starfield. Tell us, were you planning on making this a multiplayer or exclusive?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. When you purchased the biggest comic franchise on the planet, Spider-Man, was there any plan to make it multiplayer at all? Put it on Xbox? No. Oh, okay.
But the reality is, they're like,
Wolverine.
They came to Microsoft.
You're just going to snatch those multiplats away from other platforms like PC and Xbox. Those franchises that have always been multiplat, you can just snatch them away, make them exclusive. The biggest comic franchises on the planet. You're just going to do that, and that's okay. But
But that whole like, they came to Microsoft about Spider-Man, and Microsoft turned it down. So, you know, PlayStation have every right to make it exclusive. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
If you look
and Activision came to Xbox and other people too.
Yeah.
Xbox was like, okay, we'll buy you.
You look at the time frame of how long it usually takes to make a game, right? And you look at what was happening at Microsoft or Xbox at the time that they were approached about the Spider-Man IP. And you tell me that Microsoft or Xbox was willing to invest in that title at the time. No, they wouldn't have been, which is why there weren't many titles in the Xbox side during last generation.
Would have been around 2014, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been. And so they weren't in a good space. Yeah. Phil Spencer had just come to leadership around that time frame. Yeah. And there was a lot of work that they had to do to right the ship and then get Microsoft in behind them and see if whether or not Xbox was even viable and worth continuing to invest in. Yeah. And so your argument is kind of flawed in that respect because you're not actually looking at the reality of the situation or the time frame. Yes, Spider-Man came out in 2018, but that deal or the negotiation or the offer to Microsoft wasn't in 2018. It was a lot earlier. So I don't know. They just don't engage their brain or logic, and they say stupid crap that can just be pulled apart in an instance.
And then, furthermore, they're going to say, even so, or even if Call of Duty remains on PlayStation forever, we still have a problem with it.
Yep.
Why? Yeah. Because they have the ability of putting it on Game Pass and giving their consumers a deal. We can't have that either. Like, damn. Like, what do you want? What can I do with the $70 billion purchase?
Yeah, they really don't like money on as PlayStation consumers. They really don't. They just burn it, in my opinion.
That's the broken argument about Spider-Man when they say, they was offered Spider-Man. Well, it wasn't actually offered Spider-Man. Marvel went to them first to make a game, and they didn't have the studios or the money support. So then they went to Sony.
Studios.
Yeah, so they went to Sony, and Sony said, we've got Insomniac could help us out. They'll make something. And then they asked Insomniac, what game do you want to make? And Insomniac said, we'll make Spider-Man. And then it went from there, didn't it? And then, so the argument is, Microsoft had a choice and they turned it down. So that's their problem. Well, Sony has a choice to buy Activision. Yeah, but they couldn't afford them. And that's Microsoft's problem because, what do you want? So you want Microsoft to enter this business and have one hand tied behind their back? Is that what you wanted? You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll compete with Sony, but we will keep our funds down and limit ourselves to what Sony can spend, and we'll just, even though they've got a generation head start on us, we will still just sort of hold back and not spend away our money. Yeah, that's not good. That's not how business works, is it?
No. I mean,
can you imagine like, I don't know, anything on the planet, any competition in the sport where you just hold yourself back because you got to compete equally. Imagine a boxer fighting another boxer, and you think, right, I'm fighting this fella, but he's not very, very good trainer, so I'm not going to get a very good trainer, just so we're on the same level. No, that's not how it works, is it? You're going to get a good trainer, and you can destroy that person. You're not going to. Oh, he's not a very good boxer. I'm going to box, with my hands behind my back. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen.
Yep.
So,
Jesus, and they even told him you can't even use your console's full capabilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's not fair. Hold your console back. Yeah.
Yep.
It's Sony have got arrogant, and they're making too many stupid demands on Xbox. Right, you can't use the full capabilities of your Xbox. You can't buy publishers. You can't buy too many studios. You can't have this. You can't have that. Well, they seem to be free, and the media seems to back them. They seem to be open and free to just roam around, pick and do whatever they please. Well, but Xbox does it. Oh no, that's not fair. That's not competing. Well,
yeah, we know you got the world's most powerful console, 12 teraflops, but I'm gonna tell you now, buddy, you better only use 9 of those.
Yeah. I mean, it's just interesting that the CMA is echoing so much of what PlayStation has said, in around how it's going to impact and so on and so forth. When you get a completely different one from Brazil, where they're like, actually, it's not about these companies' interests; it's about the consumers at the end of the day. And they're looking at this from a consumer perspective, and it is a really good deal as a consumer. Because PlayStation is not the only company in the market which has consumers that will buy this game. It's going to be beneficial for PC gamers. It's going to be beneficial for Xbox gamers. And there will be benefits for PlayStation because it's still on their console. I don't know. Interesting that this is coming up.
Handheld, the Steam Deck gamers.
Yeah, exactly. And there's just so much availability there. because of how wide Microsoft and Xbox have gone in making sure that anyone can play the game where they choose to play it, where the service is available. And that's the key thing. This is a service that can go, like Netflix is everywhere. So Game Pass should be everywhere. And then you're not limiting people in any shape or form because they have access to it. They choose to spend their money how they want, where they want. And you know that, like, when Netflix was first coming out, like going onto TVs, and not every TV company had adopted it, people would choose to like purchase a TV that had Netflix already integrated into it. And that's going to be a reality of the situation. Game Pass is going to get bigger, and people might choose to go, I'm going to choose to do this because Game Pass is available there, because it's a good deal.
And Netflix wouldn't be Netflix without Xbox.
100% agree with you there. 100% agree with you there.
That was the first console that didn't need a disc to stream those shows and movies.
And then lo and behold, who follows suits next? Everyone else. Yeah.
Remember, you needed a disc to be sent to you to stream the movies on your Nintendo console and PlayStation.
Yeah. Should we bounce into the next topic?
Yes, please.
Should we just do a shout out first to everyone?
Yeah,
in
do
chat?
that. I'm going to mute myself.
You alright? What you swallowed today?
Hey.
She's always swallowing stuff, that girl. For a quick shout out to the chat, who we got still? Pick a Trek, Sega Man, Pyro.
She got flapped. Huh?
Yeah.
She's getting flapped.
Slap flapped. It's Timmy, Infinite Umbro, Silk Slayer. Who else we got? She's no Elite, welcome mate, Muppet. I think that's, have I covered everyone in the chat? I think I've covered everyone. Let's quickly do our super chats. Right. So next topic. Is she there? Oh, we've lost
I'm
her.
sorry, I'm
No,
just
she's gone.
getting something to
Oh,
drink.
that's all right.
I'm still recovering from a chesty cough. It's almost completely gone, but it's still every so often rears its ugly head.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's what they call it now.
Yeah.
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 I know.
Okay.
Hey,
the
other
we'll
week
go
she was
with that.
playing Halo,
No.
and I
No.
finished
Shit.
early.
We'll go with that.
I finished early because I was like, I feel awful, so I stopped
Yeah.
playing and left you guys.
She
to it.
lies for her teeth. She's just.
How, Elite? How do you even know I have teeth? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, imagine it.
Oh, that's so gross. Oh, no.
Right. So, Clobril, we're going straight into Starfield topic. Yeah,
Are
favourite.
we?
Oh yeah.
Okay, you guys. Yep, go for it.
Who's hyped for Starfield? Me. Joe, you
What? Super hype.
It's gonna be amazing, isn't it?
Crimson
It's
Fleet
amazing, yeah.
all day.
Clover will just cover some new details of stuff. There's news actually. There might be delay in the game. You heard about that?
Again.
Yeah, I heard those rumors, but delayed from what? There was no date.
No, there was no date. Yeah, but it was going to be the first quarter, wasn't it? So it
Might be summer.
be pushed. Yeah, it might be pushed till summer or sort of winter. Yeah,
My winter.
autumn, winter.
Your
Yeah,
summer.
yeah. Don't
But-
confuse things.
Yeah,
Anyone
yeah.
else?
I live in the southern hemisphere. What?
Yeah.
I'm heading into summer right now, guys.
No, well, November. Just say November. Might be delayed to November.
Yeah, but like
But
in line with what you're
go
saying,
on.
Elite. Yeah.
But so it might be delayed. But anyway, yeah. So, but there's been some new details. I mean, that's why they said it might be delayed to cover all these. There's some new changes, and some of the things that have been changes, or not changed, but added into it. Your ship runs on fuel, determines how far you can travel. There is a dialogue of 250,000 plus lines of dialogue. By far the most quest depth in any BGS game yet. Negative character traits can be removed by quests. They're bringing back the traditional dialogue system.
Yep.
Is there a bigger list of things? I think there wasn't there on this thingy here.
No
I'm sure I
idea.
see more things.
Um,
Oh, well, that's a video. Don't
yeah.
open it.
I'm so hyped for Starfield. I love games set in space. I
Yeah,
love
me too.
the Outer Worlds, and I can't wait for the Outer Worlds too. Like I just can't.
Yeah.
Like Obsidian, amazing. And I'm super excited for this because Bethesda games, they're great, and That bug thirster, yes, but that's part of the charm, and you kind of sometimes grin and bear it for a little bit. But the fact that they're just kind of showing you the scope of the game in comparison to previous titles just goes to show you how big and how much time they spent on it, and why this game did deserve to be delayed. Yes, it would have been nice to come out end of the year, but I want a quality product when I play this game. And I want them to deliver on that as much as possible, because they have a bit of a stigma sometimes with some of their games. And it would be nice to kind of get them to release a game and live up to exactly their vision. And so we can see the vision as well as gamers and experience it the way they intended it to be experienced. But J-Rock, what are your thoughts on this? Because you said you're super hyped for Starfield.
Super hype.
Super duper.
Super hype. Super uber hype. Like one of my favorite franchises of all times are Knights of the Old Republic.
Yep.
And Mass Effect. Like I love these type of games.
Mass Effect.
Space.
Yeah.
Space, sci-fi. I love it. We could tell they're still working out some of the systems, because when it came to the fuel, right? They said one of the first systems they had is like you ran out of fuel and you got stuck in space. And that was kind of boring. So they made it so you only have enough fuel to jump systems. So it's just pretty cool. So that you could tell they're still, tweaking things and making it right, and pretty much fun for gamers, because that's basically what we play video games for, is to have fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super hyped. I can't wait. I'm interested to see how that works. That negative character traits could be removed via quests. That's interesting. So say I'm an introvert. What kind of quest am I gonna get? Like, am I being a party? Like,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sex maniac.
No, you just get to play Halo Infinite with community game night. Yeah, that's it. That's the quest.
Yeah, so I'm interested. Oh, and the character customizations, I'm hyped for. I love it. The base building, hiring my staff. I can't wait to play this game. I'm hyped for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's gonna be mean. Yeah. Late.
I'm really excited to do things like just go around and sort of making colonies and hiring staff and things, and having people run things and doing all that. And I hope they got things like I'd love to have things like bounty hunter missions and stuff like that. That's what I really hope they got
would
it.
say so. The way that
because you could join like pirates. Yeah, you could join a pirate faction and
So yeah, stuff like that'd be great.
You know what I wish it did have though? A multiplayer like co-op thing that I could jump in and wreck Panda's base and all that.
Yeah,
go for it, man.
Just
go
shit
for
on
it.
it. I'll just go into a base and shit on a chair.
Leave a big turd right there.
Go for it.
In the cockpit.
Shit in a shit.
Go into your world and you'll just see all the people that are elite
Here you
that
go,
you've
Panda.
hired for your house, and they'll all be like, I've left their heads on your bed. No. That makes me think of like Fable, in the sense of if you ran into someone else's world, you could just go in and like be evil and kill everyone, and it like permanently impacted their game. I think that would be cool. I think that I agree. I wish there was a co-op or multiplayer type component to it, because as we know, we all enjoy playing games together, and that's why we have community game night and so on and so forth. And single player games are great, and you can be in a party with them, but it would also be cool to kind of experience that. Like when I was playing like Sniper Elite 5 co-op, that so much fun with someone else. And so I think we as gamers, in the environment that we're living in, post or still kind of COVID life, we're looking at ways to kind of still engage with each other in different ways, and that meant I'm still a couch potato, so I'm not going to deny that. I'll sit down and play games for hours and hours and hours, and then I'm like, where'd the day go?
You know what would have been cool, like a world economy, right? Like, say I need fuel, but I don't want to, go from this system to this system, and Panda has like a fueling station here. Well, maybe I can land here, give Panda some money. Yeah. So when she logs in, she has $250,000 that I just purchased on fuel or whatever. So, and I could use that to jump over to, say, Umbra's planet. I need to get some research done, and he has a fantastic scientific laboratory with the top scientists and stuff like that. And I could be like, "Yo, Umbra, I need your team to
Build.
conduct this schematics for this weapons or whatnot, or anything, or another group has
Or I
a
tell you what,
trading post, like
Well, it'd be like you have a
like
server
a world
set up. That
economy
be
would have
to
been
have
cool.
have like a server set up and everyone in that server. That would
Yeah.
be cool. Yeah.
I'll
That'd
tell you
be
what would
awesome.
be good. Even if you had microtransactions in it, but you could sort of share them. Say I bought microtransactions and I paid for a ship modification, but then I can sell that modification at my base to other players. So players come to my base and they say, "Oh, I'll give you 1,000 credits for that ship modification." And I say, "Yeah, sure." And then I build that modification onto their ship. It's like an
Or the
engineer
ship,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they fly off with that modification, which they've not paid for with their own real money, but they've used in-game credits to pay for it.
currency, Yeah.
Yeah, in-game currency, and then you sort of become a trader of sort of microtransactions within a game. It'd be weird. That'd be a good way to sell microtransactions. Then,
Yeah.
You know
then
how
it's sort of make it
Death
sort of
Stranding almost has a system like that, right? Like anything I build in my game, other players could experience it. Like if I build a highway in Death Stranding, other players can actually utilize that highway in order to
Yeah, I think
deliver
that
things
concept is so
quicker.
good. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
something like that would have worked perfectly in Starfield.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it can't
agree.
be fantastic. Even if you just have him in your ship, if you sort of just turbo at the front of the ship, just like a pilot and a co-pilot, and then he can jump out. You just land, he jumps out to explore something. You take off and go to another part of the other planet.
Yeah.
Or it'd just be fantastic, wouldn't it? That co-op would have been the icing. That would have been the best game ever in co-op. I don't think you'd ever let it put it
Yeah, I
down.
would
I
have.
think.
Listen, I would have lived in there.
Yeah, exactly. You and a mate would just be in there all day long, and
Mm.
just chatting and just chilling. I'm just actually going to put a
Like
video that I made.
Panda has the best
into the
rates
chat.
on. Panda has the best rates, so I know. Like if somebody, where can I sell these? Well, Panda has the best rates. Go over there and sell it.
Nah, I'm
show
gonna
the
have
body.
that for the payer
Cheap.
slogan.
Yeah.
Big and
The
bright.
PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 4
I'm gonna
space
scalp
station.
you guys.
You just sell everything overpriced.
Oh, no, I would never do that to anyone. No, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Undercut.
I've just
'cause
dropped
then
a,
you
I just
get
dropped a
good
video I
money.
made of Starfield in the chat. I've done a because I'm going to create when the game comes out and create a Starfield series. It's all like I did with Conan. So and I'm going to make my own what do you call it? Oh, what's the tape? Mixtape for it, which I'm going to put on WhatsApp, which people can listen to while they're playing it. So which I've included one of the songs in the video that I made. So but it even starts off with someone putting a mixtape in and the music plays and you listen to the music while you watch the thing. But yeah, I'll put it in chat.
All right.
But yeah, I'm super hyped for that game.
I'm
You've
super
had enough
hyped
of
for that
Starfield.
game. I think we all are going to be super hyped for that game, and like, Twitter's going to be quiet unless there's posting up on how good this game is, because we're going to be playing it. But ending up with our final topic today, Persona 3 and 4 will get new gen versions on the Series X and the Series S, but not with the PS5. So these re-releases, they're currently native new port gens, but only on Xbox consoles. And so that's really quite interesting in that respect. I know that people were joking around saying, hey, doesn't PlayStation have this cool backwards compatibility program that takes advantage of the hardware? And they're like, oh, no, wrong console. I loved all those comments. They were great. But J-Rock, what are your thoughts on this? Have you ever played Persona?
No, I haven't played Persona, and I'm about to jump in now. Right when it comes to Game Pass.
Yep.
So but it is interesting that it's gonna be the Xbox Series consoles that's gonna have this next gen upgrades.
Yeah. 'Cause
Only.
Atlas confirmed the rumors about it, and now it's been confirmed that this is the case. Yeah. Considering how massive Persona is on PlayStation.
And considering developers hate putting their games on Game Pass, it's weird, isn't it?
Right. Why are they treating them so good?
Yeah, Microsoft must be like, I don't know, beating them or something, making them do this stuff because they don't want to do it because there's no profit to be made from it whatsoever. So it's just strange that they just developers keep coming out and doing this, going this extra mile for Game Pass, even though they're doing it for completely free and they're not getting paid and developers don't make no money from it. It's just strange.
So PlayStation is no longer the best place to play?
Play Persona.
Yeah.
They do not have the definitive version.
Yeah.
No,
Wow.
Xbox has a definitive
Considering
version.
considering it's made its home and livelihood on there, and how upset that the consumers were that this was coming to Xbox in the first place, because it's never been on Xbox before. Well done. Good job. And I think it's appreciative to Atlas to actually go and put some work into that and not pass it on to the consumer. Huh?
Yeah. For free.
Yeah.
It's true.
So I'm not interested. I tried the Nikundu, didn't like it. I think I mentioned that last week. Then couldn't get into it. Did you play it, J Rock? Try that on Game Pass.
Which was that?
Was it Nikundu? Is it
Nino Cooney?
Yeah, Nino Kuni.
Yeah. I was like,
I couldn't get into it.
That's a good game.
Yeah, I like anime, love all that stuff, but I just find myself just watching a lot of it, and it was very enjoyable to watch that. But as Red knows, I can't play single player games anyway. I just skip everything.
Yeah.
And if you sort of just skip past the story of this game, then it's this pointless playing it, because a lot of it is the story. It looks fantastic, and I can appreciate the game very much, but it just wasn't for me, so I had to delete it. Hopefully, Persona will have more gameplay and be more involved and stuff like that. It won't be just long cutscenes and just,
I mean,
good to watch.
I mean, considering like everyone's switching over to current gen systems, I think it's really important that Atlas did put time and effort in releasing these games to be native and for a new gen version of them in that respect, or new gen port of them, to take advantage of those systems a little more, rather than offering just the last gen version, because it's just like, here's a reason to play it and on Xbox, because there's time and effort that's gone into it. Rather than just porting it as a standard, you're going to get some benefits of choosing to play it here and choosing to play it on a current gen console for Xbox gamers who have never played it before. So it's just kind of that nice little value add and a bit of a bonus to actually getting this franchise on Xbox for the first time. And so I think
it makes you feel wanted.
It does.
Yeah. They want us to play their games.
Yeah.
They want us to experience it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if it's part of the deal that Phil done when he went over there. Said, look, can we have this game? And they said, yes. Do you want a next gen version? And he went, yes. Cheers. Cha-ching. And Sonny went, can we have a next gen version? He went, no. Fuck off. Are you going to charge people for it? Yes. Then you can't have it. Bye. So I think that's all that topics done. If anyone got more to add to this?
No,
quite
I don't.
much better than usual.
That's
Done quite
everything.
well.
I always have lots of things to say, but no, it's been a busy week. I feel like it's been a long week, so my energy levels aren't where they usually are for the podcast, which I feel bad about, but that's okay. But thank you so much, J Rock, for joining us this week as a guest. I wish Ashtray was here as well, because it's all great when we're all here vibing off each other. But just let people know where they can find you, and just really appreciate you jumping on here. And
always, anytime. Listen, I actually changed my work schedule for you guys. I actually went in earlier so I could come out on time. I was like, listen, these are my people.
Appreciate
and I gave them my word, so I'm here.
Because you're a legend.
No, they can always find me on Twitter. They should know by now.
Yeah.
If they don't, shame on them.
That's where you'll find me at. I've got your back on Twitter. J Rock, you'll see me. I've got your back on Twitter.
Always.
When you get those ponies jumping on you, I'll see them.
Because we're family.
Yeah.
Man, it's always a pleasure to be with you guys, man. Discuss gaming topics and gaming in general, and also playing games together.
Yes.
Which a lot of people don't do in this community, which they should.
Yep.
We have a ball together.
Yeah. I need to start jumping on games. I need to buy new, because what happened is my son borrowed my headset. He broke his headset, borrowed my headset, and then broke my headset. So neither of us have got headsets now. So I need to buy another one.
That sounds like PlayStation parody right there.
Yeah.
Say, well, if I don't have mine, you can't have yours.
Yeah. He rages a lot in the games he plays. He plays a lot of Ark and Rainbow Six and stuff like that. And he tends to rage a lot. Enough. So yeah. So I had to buy a new headset because I've got no mic at the moment for chatting in game because the mic I use, the headset I use for this has no mic on it. I
Mm.
specifically bought a headset with no mic, so it doesn't, you don't get sort of feedback and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well,
But yeah,
just want to kind
sorry.
of shout out to the chat for joining us this week. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your support for the podcast. We'll be back next week. I'm possibly not going to be here. I'm planning not to be here next week, but you know, might twist my arm and maybe show up anyway because I just want to trash talk Elite, not just only in the chat but in real life.
Ow.
Just a reality of the situation, Elite.
Says no, but means
And yeah, just love having you guys on it. Hit that like button, share it out, and like comment Elite is a fraud in the chat after the video in the comment section, so he knows how much you guys love him. And
great man, too.
yeah, just appreciate you guys every week, and appreciate our community and gaming with you guys, and so on and so forth, and just
Appreciate
really,
the support. Yeah.
Thank you so much, J-Rock, for joining us this week. Yeah.
I say please jump over to J-Rock and Red Dead's channels and please drop them a sub, please. We all really appreciate the support we can get here, and so yeah, we want to take this to another level, next level, because we're competing directly with Rand.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's 5-hour podcast.
But yeah, thank you all for joining, and goodbye for now.
Goodbye for now, guys.